That's interesting. The one we did for the babies.
Yeah.
And then basically they told me, he goes, your gallbladder burst. Now here's the bad news, he says. Your chance of living is not well. But we're going to try to fix it. We're trying to help you. We're going to try our best. So that wasn't really assuring. And then they put something in the IV that helped me feel great at that time. So I was feeling good, and then they took it out, and I was feeling the pain again. And then I was like, put it back in. It's like, no, because you have to sign paperwork. When the doctor comes, they're flying a doctor from San Francisco all the way to LA. For me, just for that. Because he was a specialist in the middle of the night. Finally got there. Doctor goes, pain was horrendous at that point. But he says, we needed you off the medication for so many times so you can sign paperwork. Because what we got to do? It's like, what am I going to do? Why am I signing this paperwork? He says, look, very simple. You're signing that we're going to try to save your life. But it's 99.9% that you will die on this table. So you just got to know that you're going to be dead, basically. We're going to try to save you. We're going to try, but we don't think it's going to happen. Already the poison's going around your body. So I started to cry, and I'm a person that never cried before that time. I cry all the time. I don't know why. At that point, I never cried before. And the very first thing I started crying about is my kids were home by themselves. Nobody knew where I was. I thought I was just going to get a stomach pump and come back home. And it was the craziest feeling to know that you couldn't control what was happening next, which I was used to controlling everything. You couldn't do anything to make it better. Because what happened, it already happened. And I remember they put this gas mask on me, and they said count to 10, and I remember counting like 2 numbers, and I was out completely. But I do remember crying. I do remember pleading. At that moment, I can tell you, I wasn't a believer of a higher power, of God, or anything else, but I prayed all I could during that time. Because how many of you would do anything to stay with your kids? To me, that was the most important thing at that moment. How do you stick around? How do you stick? How can I live? And I go, give me a chance. Just give me a chance. Give me that 1%. That 0.01% to live. That's all I need. Just give me one chance. I'll make things good. I realized at that moment that I was thinking more of how to create $1 million than how to help people around me. I didn't really care about that. I realized a lot of different things during that time, and it's funny because people say, how can you think about this? You know, when you're asleep, you start seeing things, you start feeling things. You don't realize until you wake up the next day. And I woke up, I don't know if it was the next day or the day after, but I didn't even know where I was. I remember looking, I was like, where am I? And then I'm in the hospital. And all of a sudden, he goes, everything came back, and I was like, oh my God, I'm alive. It was one of these surreal moments, but my dad was standing next to me. And to me, that was amazing because I don't remember giving anybody his number. I don't remember anybody knowing that, I was there. I don't remember none of that. All I remember is heading to that hospital. So my kids were fine. He was there. Family knew that I was there somehow. I don't know how they figured that out. I didn't take a wallet with me, I remember. So I don't know how they got my information. But they did. And I was glad for that. But I made a promise that day to myself, to God, that I was not going to be fighting to make millions of dollars no more. I was not going to be doing what I knew what I wanted to do all the time is get back up to that company, make those $1 million again, create that wealth. And I knew, that was the lead part. I don't know, it just felt that he listened to me. I don't know if you guys have ever felt something like that before, but it's something that is just different, and that's what it was, because there's no other words I can tell you why I'm still here after that moment. When that happened, it was a very surreal moment, just remembering everything. I went back, and I remember, and I said, I'm just not going to build no more. I'm not going to do anything. I'll figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to live with my kids. I'm going to finish the money that I made until I don't have no more, and then I'll build something. But I'm going to live with my kids every day. And that was my plan. You know, how many of us, and I had enough, a little bit saved up that I said, you know, we can live till my kids get out of schools. You know, and from there, you know I'm a guy that I think I can start from zero at any time and get back to wherever I want to. I believe that in me. So I was not worried about that. So I said, you know, I'll do that. But then I got bored. How many of you get bored at home? Like, how many of you take the day off, or maybe have a vacation time from work, and then you don't know what you're doing at home? You're like, what am I doing here? That's what I felt every day. I was like, I need to do something. All of a sudden, I had, thank you. All of a sudden, I had a friend call me. You guys remember the Sean guy? That he was my first mentor. He calls me up and says, Armand, there's a group of people that are going to meet in Utah. They're going to talk about this new company. They all want you there. And I says, well, I don't feel like doing network marketing again. How many of you felt not doing network marketing again in your life, right? I was at that point. I was like, I don't want to do network marketing again. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. I already built, and they lost, and they destroyed it, and the government took it, and all this. I don't want to go through that again. I'll build something else. I'll figure it out. You know, slowly, but I'll figure it out. He goes, no, you've got to go. And Sean goes, and he says one thing. He says, you see, they're not going to take me. If you don't show up, I'm not in. And I have to be in this. Can you at least make it to the place so we can sign the apps and you can just go? Do it for me? And I said, all right. We took the flight. We already had tickets. They handed them. We took the flight to Utah. Went to this home. Listened to this presentation. Doctors came from other parts, of the United States. And they were talking about this great product. And I'm sitting there going, this is one of the greatest products I've ever heard in my life. And in my mind, I started going, oh my God, this might be the company that I was looking for. Oh my goodness, I'm going to make a lot of money. And I'm starting to think the way I thought before, the little greed came back. And I started thinking, you know what, I'm going to make this happen. And it's funny because during that time, I told my family that I was not, they told me not to sign up because I didn't know I was going. I said I was not going to. So I missed my first flight home. And I was still sitting in their basement of their home. They had a full basketball court with wood and everything else. So I was down there shooting hoops with their kids from the owners of the homes. And I just couldn't leave. It's like, I can't leave without signing up. And I finally went up and I signed up for this company. And I said, it's going to be fun again. So I signed up. How many of you signed up to the company? You go like, this is it. This is going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? You had that feeling, that heart pounding moment again. That blood flowing through your body one more time. So I called up my friends, everybody that I knew. I said, I'm coming home. And you know what? I want all my leaders. I start calling them and says, I'll be home around 2 in the morning. My flight gets in, to LA about 1:30. By the time I get home, it's about 2:30. I need you all to be at my home. I need everybody, contact everybody we had in our teams. Be at the house, right? Everybody goes, are you serious? When I got there, it was like a party at my house. And we did a presentation. We did a full presentation of this product and everything else, and there wasn't going to be a product for 6 months. It didn't exist. Wasn't a juice, wasn't nothing, it didn't exist for 6 months. How many of you could sell like that with nothing in your hands? Just air.
We did.
Promises. Right? But that love, that excitement was so much, everybody felt it. When I walked in the room and I said, look, I got it. Found it. That year, I recruited 1,200 people at $500 on air. On air. personal sponsor on air. Because there was no product. I remember till February 23, I think it was 2007, I think that's what it was. They were going to get it, 2008. So there was no product. And we had 6 months to go to get there. Now, it was exciting because I was like one of the first who won this Escalade truck, and they handed it to me, and it was all wrapped. The windows were wrapped with the logos, and he goes, "Get your free Escalade. Ask me how. This is that. My number on the bottom." So it was really neat. I said, "Okay, fantastic. How many would love to be driving an Escalade, Cadillac Escalade? Phenomenal truck, right?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is phenomenal. They gave me a new truck. Great." And I'm driving around with this truck, and when you have a car, a vehicle from the company, do you fly to another state or do you fly to another city?
No.
You have
You
to drive so
drive.
they can see the car. So I'm driving from California to Phoenix, Arizona now because Phoenix, Arizona is about 6 hours away. I usually would fly there. But I'm not driving there because people have to see the car. Excitement. Now I'm driving down and somebody calls me and says, "Armand, this is going to be great. We have a Super Saturday that we're going to do. I didn't want to tell you this, but we're going to have 500 people here. They all think it's a Super Saturday from the last company that we're at. We're all transferring everybody over to this company now. And it's going to be great because nobody knows you're coming, but once we see, we're going to post you, we're going to stand you in the front, we're going to announce you, and you're going to come up. Everybody knows who you are anyway. So you stand there, and everybody's going to say yes." So I'm driving down now, and in my mind, I'm going 500 people, $500. I'm doing numbers, and I'm like, they're going to bring 2, they're going to bring 5, I'm making numbers. I'm getting this excitement going where you're jumping up. How many of you jumped up in the car like as you're driving somewhere and you didn't know why you were excited, but you just jumping? That was me. But here's the horrible part. As I was excited and jumping and everything else, in a split second, I woke up upside down in the vehicle. That truck went in turn after turn after turn after turn. I don't remember when I fell asleep and how I could if I was so excited. But I woke up upside down with paramedics trying to pull me out, ripping the doors off. They couldn't believe I had not one scratch on me. Not one scratch. But the very first thing I did remember was that promise. And to me, that was a huge shout, saying, "You were already heading that direction again." So to me, that was one of those moments where you go like, wow. I walked right out. In that business there, I let it go. I just didn't want to do it no more. I was just so disappointed in myself more than everything else. But I knew what we could accomplish. And it was one of those moments that, we still worked it a little bit, but it was not that exciting as it was. From there, they repaired. Insurance gave me a new one, so that's fantastic. But now with no stickers on it. Still kept working the business a little bit here and there. As a matter of fact, I went into another business. In this other business, there's video of me out there again. I surpassed the lead distributor, the master distributor of the company. They carried me on stage. How many of you didn't realize that even though you're not the top person in the company or the first person in, you can actually surpass them in the amount of money, income, everything else? That's the kind of business this is. This kind of business permits you to make more money than anybody above you or under you, depending on what your work ethic is. Isn't that cool? So I surpassed this person. They carried me on stage. Everything was beautiful. And all of a sudden, I'm in another company again for the same reason. Because I couldn't do it no more. It's just, I was just not that company. Kept moving. Well, I learned very strongly that the message was very strong that I needed to do something to help people. I was in the middle of a coffee company during this time, but I was trying to figure things out again. And I was in the same truck that I turned around, but obviously insurance gave me a brand new one, the same exact one. And I head down to San Diego from Los Angeles, which is like an hour and a half drive south. And we walked in, and there was a room with 150 people. And everybody said yes to the opportunity. I was not expecting that. It didn't go because of that. But it was exciting because everybody said yes, and I was coming home with affiliation forms. It was like that thick. And I was like, I'm going to put these all into the system when I get home. So exciting. You have a pack of paper that is just thick and going like, oh my goodness, this is it. So I'm driving back, and I'm excited again. I'm jumping up, and I'm going like, oh my God, this is it. And all of a sudden, I wake up again, and my mirror on my right side was crunching against a truck that was coming. And if it wasn't for that trailer that was on the road moving at the same speed I was, if I didn't lean on that trailer, I would have gone over a cliff on the side of the road, and I would put a nut in there. But that crunching sound is what woke me. And now I remember that promise again. After that, I was very depressed for a very long time. I just couldn't think, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Why can't I just do what I want to do? What do I need to do to help? What do I need to do to be different? And it was a crazy moment because at this point I was like, I don't want to do network marketing again. So at this point, I had already met Esther, which you guys know, my wife, who now she's the one who put these products together that you know and recognize. And she had this phenomenal tea and some other products that she was putting together. And I said, well, I'm going to become that middle of the night sales guy on TV and sell products.
Okay. Tell us yours.
I was a ShamWow man. I don't know if you guys know who that guy is here. But I wanted to be that guy, the Billy Mays Hayes guy at night that sold products in infomercials. So I was like, this is what we're going to do. We already planned it out, named the company, everything else. We're moving away from this network marketing company that was coffee. Says, this is what we're going to do. We're going to build this company. And we're not going to do nothing with network marketing, so there's not going to be no greed. We're going to sell what we can, and we're going to help people by giving them products that are going to be phenomenal. So everything should be good. And all of a sudden, a gentleman that was the CEO of another company came and offered me some money. And I said no to be in that company because I'm not interested in the money. And then another CEO came down and wanted me to be in front of his company, but then he sold me his dream, and I kind of felt we were in line to what we wanted to do together. And I said, okay, I'll build your company. And we started building this one company in 2010. Actually, it was a little bit before that. When we started building this company in 2010, what's happening is that I started investing all my money, started doing a lot of different things to make sure this company flows and goes fast. All of a sudden, I get this feeling in my chest, like I'm having a heart attack. I don't know if you guys ever felt anything like that, but it's a horrific feeling. And your mind plays games on yourself. You think, oh my God, this is a heart attack. And to the point that it was kind of paralyzing me to where I had to get on the floor because I thought I was either going to fall or I was going to fall, one of the two. And I called paramedics, went to the hospital. They found out that pain that I was feeling was two malicious tumors between my heart and my lungs. So I was 425 pounds at that time. So I was very heavy. I was 210 kilos. So when you breathe deep, it was kind of pushing those tumors right into your heart, and that's the pounding I was feeling. And the pain. But then he says, that's not the worst part. Not only are you diabetic, we don't know how you're still living, because it basically that my scores were up high. My glucose scores was like a 14. So it's like, I don't know how you're still standing. And then he said, you have high blood pressure. But here's the worst part. You have gastric cancer phase 4. You have about 6 months more of life left. There's nothing we can do. We can try to slow it down, he says. Number one. But we don't know how much it's going to help, but we're going to try to slow it down. doing all these chemotherapies and all these other things that they wanted to do. I remember walking out of that hospital just because I couldn't believe what was I listening to what's happening to me. And I walked down, I kept walking. People were looking for me that night. I just kept walking. And in my mind, I had it clear in my head, and I figured one thing. I said, because at this moment, I had invested all my money into this company. All these leaders that were in other company had dropped their checks to follow me to this company. So I had all these people that were depending on this company actually being successful. And there was a lot of lives depending on us doing the right thing. Now, I'm told I'm not going to be around in 6 months. It was a horrific feeling. But at that moment, I had to make a decision. I had to decide, if you have 6 months more of life, and somebody's telling you you have 6 more months of life, it's either a blessing or it's something very bad. And to me, I took it as a blessing because I said, if I have 6 months more of life, I'm going to work as hard as I can to build the organization as fast as I can. Because if I have to leave in 6 months, I'm going to leave enough residual income for my kids, for my family, and for the people that were depending on me for this company to grow. And we started building this company like crazy. And the ideas were flowing, everything was going fine. 6 months came by, I wasn't dead. And I couldn't believe it because I felt better. And the only thing I was doing is because my wife now is there, she was crunching up because when she knew what I had, she had cancer and everything else, she started investigating stuff online, everything, ordering these plants from all over the world, crunching it up and spoon feeding me this horrible stuff. And literally, I never believed in health products before this. I sold juices, I've sold different things, but I've never believed that it really worked. How many of you have been, it's like, I'll make the money, it's a good compound. I'll sell it. I never believed. I thought everything was hocus pocus, But she started spoon feeding me this stuff, and the only reason I was doing it because she was so attentive to me, I didn't want her to feel bad because I didn't want to take it. And she was crunching this stuff, and it was like a drive for her. He goes, I'm going to fix you somehow, And she's kept doing that. 6 months later, I'm alive still. A year later, I'm alive still. 2 years later, I'm alive still. And in between, she's like, don't you feel, you look so good. I mean, I've lost a lot of weight by that time. I've lost over 150 pounds. I look great. I felt good. I was traveling everywhere. I was building this company. Every company was doing hundreds of $1 million now in sales. And I was thinking, nothing's going to stop me. I don't want to know. She goes, well, don't you want to go to the doctor and find out how it is? I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go there and figure out that they tell me, he goes, you're dying tomorrow. You should have been dead years ago. What are you still doing alive, right? I didn't pick up the courage to go to this doctor for 5 years. And it was 2010 when I was told. 2015 is when I went to the doctor finally.
Wow.
And when they looked at what we had, they couldn't believe that I was still around, number one. The doctors thought maybe we had errors in the diagnosis, where he had a full body scan done of me. And the full body scan is, if you guys ever know, it's a little liquid that tastes like it's burning you. And then they put you in this machine, and they scan you like a Xerox copy. And they tell you everything that you have inside of you. And they found that I had no more gastric cancer, but it did exist because I had scar tissue where it was before. They found that I had no more diabetes at that moment. My sugar levels were fantastic. They found out that those 2 tumors that I had were gone completely. They couldn't find a trace of them. And the only reason they knew that it was the same person was because of the scar tissue that I had because of the gastric cancer. If it wasn't for that, they would have thought my paperwork was different, and so they mixed it up somehow. They said, you have no cancer. You have nothing. And what you've been doing. I never took the chemo, never did the radiation, never did anything they wanted me to, never took medication. The only thing I was doing is taking this spoonful of this stuff that tastes like rocks from the ocean floor. That's all I was doing. So in my mind, I was like, people need to have this. They literally need to have this stuff. People need to, experiment what we have. And during the same time, there's other people who had cancer that my wife is like, she's like a magnet for people who are sick. Somehow they find her. And she's always making stuff for people. And there's many people who have cancer that she's showing up at our doorstep or talk to her and she'll go and make him stuff like similar to mine. And they're still around. So I could see that was happening. So I could see stuff was like, oh my God, what's going on? And all of a sudden I said, you know what, we really need to do something with this. So in the last company I said, we need to have these products added to our line. I need to have this because these products are going to be phenomenal. And one of the things he said is, it's too expensive. We can't sell it. Because it was supposed to sell for $100 a bottle at that point because we couldn't get the ingredients as we can now. But the ingredients were a lot harder to get. So at that point it was like $100 a bottle. Says, we can't sell it. And they were laughing at me. Like, you would never be able to sell that for $100. So I'm telling you, people need this. Now I'm a believer. Remember I was not a believer in this stuff? Now I was a believer. And at that point, I'm telling you, we went to a convention and they spend my money to get these garments and stuff for that company that they announced at that convention. And we announced this product at our convention too, but we had to pay for it because they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to believe it. Our capsules and everything else sold out completely at that convention. Everybody wanted more at $100 a pop. Everybody was excited about them. Everybody was excited because everybody heard what I've been taking and everybody knew and everybody, the rumors were that they finally got this stuff. It was amazing. It went all. Everybody bought it. Everybody took it. And the other garments, they're still there to the day. Just collecting dust. Because people are hungry to have change happen in their life. So at this point, we realized that we had issues with that company. That they didn't want to do things that we wanted to do, and obviously they want to do their own stuff. And that's fantastic. I respect that always. Anybody who's their company, they can do whatever they want. But if it's not your road, you got to change your road. And that's when we started really building Vida Divina. I quit one night because I was very angry. They told me, Armand, we're not doing anything, this and this and this and that. He goes, if you want, just cash your check and go home. Enjoy your life. At that point, I was doing about 12.5 mil. Cash your home and goodbye. Cash your check. It felt now like I was a prostitute or something, Just cash your check. It didn't sound right. I said, you know what, forget it. That night, there was a Super Saturday finishing up that day in Fontana, California. And I was leaving my office because it was in that building. And I got out of my office after this call. I was so frustrated, so angry. Went on stage, everything had finished, everybody's standing up. And I got on stage, everybody turned around, look, well, what's Armand going on stage for? And I said, this is the last presentation for this company ever again, here in this building. So I'm sorry, everybody, I'm out. And I left. That day, we said we're launching Vida Divina. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know what we were going to have, how long it was going to take us to launch. But that moment, everybody started cheering and jumping, and it was like, you told people, we're finally free. Everybody was just going crazy. And the only thing is because they understood one thing. We're not here, and I was never there to try to take anything from anybody. We've always been there trying to see what we can give, what we can produce, what we can hand to people, what kind of products can you put in your hands and can help more people out there. And at that point, I understood that what we got to do is do a lot of different things in this company. But number one is fulfilling a lot of the promises that other companies have given us and wasn't able to do or complete. And that was basically been our mission from that point. How many people can we help that have been promised, been told, this is what's going to happen, this is how you're going to grow, this is what's going to do, and giving you that opportunity, but yet at the end they take it from you, right? We try to build a company that is built for you, for distributors, for affiliates, by affiliates, and the growth is going to be tremendous. We started growing Vida Divina at that moment, not really physically, but mentally, putting it together, putting the comp plan together, putting everything together. From that moment on, I started talking to leaders. Like I talked to Diana, I talked to a lot of different people at that point. And everybody was excited about what we were doing. A lot of people were quitting their business that they had in another company just to start working here with us, and everybody's excited. We didn't have even a comp plan ready. We didn't have a system ready. We didn't have a back office ready. And people were quitting their old stuff, and we didn't have nothing to pay them with. We didn't have product to start. So we didn't believe it was going to be that big either, because I'll be honest with you, I thought that we're only going to have about 10,000 people start the company. Maybe, 20 to 30,000 by the end of the year. This was September when we launched. So a couple months by the end of the year, I think, a couple thousand people, fantastic. That's what's going to happen. First weekend in, we launched on a Friday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Worst error in my life. Because there was no IT guys. Everybody went home. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody went for the weekend. And we started this campaign of putting people in. 43,000 people signed up to the company over the weekend. We crashed the server so many times that we're knocking other network marketing companies out that were sharing the same server with us the whole weekend. People were just coming in, signing up. It was just a crazy thing. By the end of the week, the following Friday, we had 68,000 people in the system. By the end of the year, we had over 100,000 people in the system. So we kept growing to a level that it was our first mistake. We underestimated the kind of quantity of people that were going to come into the business. So what happened? We're having issues fulfillment. We didn't produce enough product at the very beginning to be able to fulfill for everybody that we needed. We didn't have the machinery to produce the product at the speed that people were buying. So, trying to catch up, trying to buy machines, trying to buy equipment, trying to buy a lot of different things, get space to work to make it. At one point, we were in my house with a bunch of distributors in my house. Everybody was spoon-filling tea bags because the machines could not do it fast enough, so we're just trying to do it by hand. And this is real. We have pictures of this. People could understand we were just so behind. We just need to fill this stuff up. Let's go. And everybody's working so many hours. And I'm talking about a lot of the diamonds that you see now. They were in there shoveling stuff into tea bags and sealing them by hand and everything else. It was just one of those things that it was an experience that you couldn't fathom the thought, but yet it was. That's what it was. And all of a sudden, obviously, we got machines coming in, and we started installing them, so we had more machines and more machines and more machines. They kept coming, because these machines are not like you can order them on eBay or something. These are machines, they're custom made. Our bag is a custom size, which, again, was another error of mine, because I would have made it a regular size tea bag, we got the machine a little faster. It was like a custom size bag, a custom everything that we needed. So it was something that was incredible. It was 6 months wait for these machines. And the only thing, we started getting these machines and more machines and more machines, and we started filling these orders. And finally, around February of 2017, everything started feeling a little breath of fresh air. Everything started feeling better. Everything started moving a little bit better, a little bit faster. And we kept growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. Country after country after country started opening up. And it just became amazing. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because there's a specific reason to everything that I'm telling you at this moment. From the moment I started when I was a kid, to the moment I had that gallbladder burst, to the moment I flipped that truck, to the moment I crushed the truck against the one side of a semi, to the minute I started building this company, one thing that I realized is the only thing that was keeping me moving forward and I could build again and again and again and again was these 5 steps that we're going to teach you today. And these 5 steps have been my motto for years because I know they work. And no matter who we teach it to and whoever does it has made fortunes with this. And I think you guys can do the same. So we're going to do, I think, what time is it now? Huh? 15 to 12? You guys want to leave for lunch a little early, and then we'll come back and start doing the plan? So, you got, what time we're going to come back?
Yeah, we're going to come back at about, we'll say 1:15.
Okay, so a little past 1, we're going to come in, and we're going to start now with the